your journey into the heart and soul of Greece. And now, member-supported Hellenic Public Radio Cosmos FM 91.5, a bilingual Greek-American radio program coming to you every day through WNYE 91.5 FM. From the Demetrius and Georgia Kaloidis Broadcasting Studios to the greater New York area and worldwide through cosmosfm.org. Our programs air Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 p.m., Saturdays from noon to 3:30 p.m., and Sunday mornings from 9 to 1:30 p.m.
Μπαλκόνια και ζευγάρια που είναι χρόνια μαζί. Μάτια μου η Ελλάδα χτυπάει τη φεγγαράδα κι αν είσαι και ξενύχτης σε πάει και μια βαρδάδα. Μάτια μου η Ελλάδα το λέει για φιλενάδα. Μου το παν κι οι θεοί της τους είχε 12. Κι αν παίζει πάντα κόσμο θα έχει. Βάλε κι αστέρια, βάλε και πρίμα κι άσε τα χέρια να έχουν το κύμα κορμί. Μάτια μου η Ελλάδα την πάει τη φεγγαράδα κι αν είσαι και ξενύχτης σε πάει και μια βαρδάδα. Μάτια μου η Ελλάδα το λέει για φιλενάδα. Μου το παν κι οι θεοί της τους είχε 12. Μάτια μου η Ελλάδα την πάει τη φεγγαράδα κι αν είσαι και ξενύχτης σε πάει και μια βαρδάδα. Μάτια μου η Ελλάδα το λέει για φιλενάδα και μες στην παρακμή της χτυπάει κι Ολυμπιάδα. Μάτια μου η Ελλάδα την πάει τη φεγγαράδα κι αν είσαι και ξενύχτης σε πάει και μια βαρκάδα.
an annual tradition goes online. I'm Anna Eliopoulos, and speaking with me tonight is the executive director of the Hellenic Initiative. We will be talking about their annual gala right after our usual community announcements.
Ενημέρωση, πολιτισμός, ψυχαγωγία. Κόσμος FM.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Hellenic Public Radio, Cosmos FM on 91.5 WNYE in New York. You can also hear us streaming live at www.cosmosfm.org and on all your smart devices via the TuneIn app by searching Cosmos FM. And I'm very excited to have a repeat guest on this program. He was here around the same time last year for a similar reason, but this year it looks quite different. I want to welcome back to the show Peter Poulos, the executive director of the Hellenic Initiative. Peter, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me.
The reason that we brought you on last year and the reason that we brought you on this year is because every year the Hellenic Initiative has an annual gala to not only highlight the work that they've been doing throughout the year, but also to bring attention to the work that is yet to be done and to celebrate the achievements and raise money along the way. Last year, I was lucky enough to go to the event, and it was just a wonderful celebration and a gathering of people of all ages. And it was just a nice environment in that room. This year, we can't have a room to participate in, but that hasn't stopped the Hellenic Initiative from staying true to its annual tradition of hosting this celebratory event.
That's true. Our gala, our New York gala, has actually become, as you probably know, the largest fundraising event in all of the global Greek diaspora. Last year we raised over $2 million. It's important for a lot of reasons. I mean, it's important for getting us all together. We're social. Greeks are social. For the networking that happens there. As you said, for the opportunity to showcase the work that we do in Greece. But most importantly, we're a fundraising organization. So it's important because the money we raise at that gala every year funds all of our programs, on the ground in Greece. Our programs around our charitable work and our programs around our economic development work. So, when everything sort of went into lockdown in March, the Hellenic Initiative had to take a long, hard look, at what we were doing and say, well, we're an organization that makes our money, by putting on events and by basically putting on in-person events. So, what are we going to do? How are we going to survive? And I think a lot of organizations, a lot of nonprofit organizations are struggling right now. Thinking, how do you raise money from people, when people are suffering, losing their jobs, losing their homes, et cetera. But thanks to the leadership of our board of directors and our super dedicated staff, we said, well, we're a crisis relief organization, so we're just going to dig our heels in, and we are going to double down on our efforts to help everybody in Greece. And maybe that means, that somebody can't give us $1,000, but they can give us $100. Maybe that means somebody can't give us $100,000, but they can give us $10,000. And so, we are going to throw the net out wider, and we're going to work harder, and we're going to find creative ways to raise money. So, we launched a digital speaker series, and that was really successful. We launched a COVID-19 online fundraising campaign, and that raised over $100,000. And then we decided to take our gala and make it virtual. So in 2 days, THI is going to have its first ever virtual gala. It's a little over 1 hour. It's like an hour and 15 minutes long. We're selling tickets to it. We have already raised over $1.3 million for our virtual gala. Much of that support coming from people who have given us money in the past, and our board members are always incredibly generous. Lots of corporations who want to help, but hundreds of small donations from people all over the globe. And we're kind of feeling like, because it's a virtual gala, we decided that we would combine, we always do an event in London as well. So this year, It's, we're including London, we're including New York, and it starts at 1 a.m. in Greece. That's where I'm based in Athens. But a lot of Greeks are tuning in, because you say to a Greek, listen, it starts at 1 a.m. It's like, that's okay. It's not late for them. So
right.
So that's what we're doing this year.
We'll be right back with more of our conversation with Peter Poulos, the executive director of the Hellenic Initiative, right after this short musical break.
Ξύπνησα μες στον ύπνο μου και άκουσα 2 φωνές. Η μια μου είπε ξέχνα την και πάψε πια να κλαις. Μα η άλλη ήταν η δική σου. Μέσα απ' του ύπνου του εφιάλτη τις γραμμές μου λέγε αγάπη μου κοιμήσου. Θα είμαι κοντά σου όταν με θες. Είναι η ζωή μικρή. Συνήθισα να σ' αγαπώ, συνήθισες κι εσύ. Μα είναι τα χρόνια ένα δοχείο, ένα φτηνό ξενοδοχείο για 2 στιγμές, για να χωράει κάπου ο πόνος. Τις νύχτες όταν μένω μόνος, τις σιωπές μου να μετράω, να σε θυμάμαι όταν πονάω, να μου λες θα είμαι κοντά σου όταν με θες. Το παραμύθι τέλειωσε κι αρχίζει η ζωή. Αχ, να ήταν η αλήθεια σου σαν ψέμα αληθινή. Τι να την κάνω τη ζωή μου, στο παραμύθι θα τη ρίξω να πνίγει, να παραμύθια στη ψυχή μου, να σε πιστέψει πάλι από την αρχή, να σε πιστεύει όταν μ' αγγίζεις, τις νύχτες όταν ψιθυρίζεις, όταν λες θα είμαι κοντά σου όταν με θες.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Hellenic Public Radio, Cosmos FM 91.5 on WNYE in New York. And this evening's guest is Peter Poulos, the executive director of the Hellenic Initiative. We're talking not only about the organization's missions and their works, but also their upcoming gala on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern online. I definitely want to get back to some of the specifics of the gala, but, you know, sure. As you mentioned, the Hellenic Initiative has been at the forefront of trying to, ever since the major economic crisis of recent years, to really step in and help on a variety of different fronts, not only for immediate relief, but also entrepreneurial relief, to try to provide access to capital for people that have great ideas that are willing to invest in Greece and in the Greek future. So, you know, in a question that I asked last time around was that, Greece was doing so well and was, you know, coming up economically that people were starting to question why they should continue to donate, even though there is still a great need. The COVID-19 lockdown just kind of threw Greece backwards by a number of years in providing a major economic stagnation that I don't think most people realize that Greece is going to feel the repercussions of until later in the fall and in the winter into next year.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, you know, COVID seemed particularly cruel to Greece. And I say that because the tourism industry was, sort of always the stalwart industry of the Greek economy. I mean, that and shipping and agriculture, but,
Right.
tourism for sure, was something, I mean, the, official statistics say that somewhere, close to 25% of the population, is employed in the tourism sector, but in reality, it's closer to 40%, and I think everybody knows that. And so all of a sudden you had an industry, that a tourism industry that was able to survive a financial crisis, a refugee crisis, like any other crisis that we had, but it was not able to survive COVID. And I think, Greece, thanks to the leadership of this government, Greece did an amazing job of protecting its citizens, and opened up, for tourism this past summer, and had some traffic, but nowhere near what it needed to sort of sustain the economy and its people. And as you rightly point out, it's not even, we're not even sure, that it will recover next year. I mean, I think we have some hopeful news yesterday, from a fellow, Greek, Albert Bourla, and Pfizer,
Right.
and their vaccine trials. And so that's all really hopeful. But, it's all uncharted waters. I mean, we just don't know what's going to happen. And so, and as you mentioned earlier, we obviously, we focus on three things as an organization, our mission. Certainly, we help, we fund organizations, that are working to relieve pain and suffering, feeding people, clothing people, housing people, offering medical services, those sorts of things. But we also support entrepreneurs. And as you mentioned, we run and support economic development projects. And so, we couldn't, our venture fair, which is like the only American style, like pitching event in Greece every year, we weren't able to have this year. So we decided to create something new called the Venture Impact Award. And with the support of one of our new board members, Dimitri Georgakopoulos, and two extremely generous donors, including the estate of Charles Kondas, we were able to raise $350,000 USD in order to give $25,000 grants to new Greek companies, startups. And so the application process just closed. So we received 120 applications for the Venture Impact Award. We narrow that down, and then there's a judging panel that reviews, the winning applications, and then we decide, we'll be giving out like 10 to 15, $25,000 grants to these organizations so they can capitalize their businesses. And it's non-sector specific. I have to say, I've read about half the applications now. Exciting businesses, exciting ideas. I mean, it makes you so proud to be Greek, when you read about, these, and it's not just young people, but just, people who are so clever, who are doing interesting things, who've come up with these, like, innovative ideas. So, we are really doubling down on our efforts, as I mentioned earlier, to sort of give out as much money as possible this year and to support as many people as possible, because Greece needs to diversify, its economy, and this is a great way to do that, because we could no longer be solely dependent on like an industry like tourism.
Right.
So that's what we're working on.
And I like how that ties into the theme of the gala this year, which is all about highlighting innovation through this difficult time, because also, as you mentioned, the gala had to innovate. And I think it's kind of actually nice that this will be an opportunity for people from all across the Greek diaspora to kind of congregate for one event in fellowship and in highlighting the Greek spirit through tough times.
I agree with you. I mean, I just watched sort of a rough cut, of of some of the films, that we're featuring in the gala, because, I think a lot of people have said, I know a lot of people have said this during COVID, that it was a great pause. It was a time, for people to sort of, take account of like what they'd been doing, where they wanted to go, what they could improve on. The Hellenic Initiative did all of that. The staff did all of that. We weren't traveling around. We weren't running around, hosting all these events. Like we had a lot of time to talk. We had a lot of time to think, and we had a lot of time to think about, the impact that we have and how we could improve it, and how to tell our story. And so, we went and filmed, 10 different nonprofit organizations that we support. Organizations that are, like I said earlier, are helping to relieve pain and suffering, but also organizations, that are teaching people skills, that are creating jobs in Greece. Because we say all the time, we like giving out fish, but we'd rather teach people how to fish. So, the focus of the gala is really about, how do we empower these, Greeks, to be more self-sufficient, and how do we sort of create a bridge between Greeks in the diaspora and Greeks in Greece? Like we're now launching a mentoring program as well with our new leaders group, which, as you know, is our sort of young professional group. So we have new leaders in the diaspora, our 40 years and younger young professional group, who are going to be mentoring Greek companies, helping them figure out how to write a better business plan, helping them figure out how to find new markets to sell their products, helping them figure out how to how to find funding. All these sort of valuable things. Those kinds of activities we are very interested in, and it's important for us to be building a bridge, between. That's what we're about. As an organization, we're about building a bridge between the Greek diaspora and Greece. And this is and doing it through networking and through mentoring is an excellent way to do it. And we'll be showcasing that in our gala.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned about the fact that it's going to be these messages and these kind of remarks from people not only being affected by the work that you're doing, but people that support the work. So I just want to take a quick moment to highlight two of the speakers that are going to be present at the virtual gala. We, of course, have Greek-American actress, singer, songwriter, all-around multi-talented entertainer Rita Wilson, as well as television host and noted journalist and political anchor George Stephanopoulos.
Kalispera σας. It's me, Rita Wilson, and I wanted to say I'm so happy to be here tonight to celebrate with the Hellenic Initiative. I just want to tell you, as you know, I love my new country and all the work that Hellenic Initiative is doing. As you know, the word philanthropy was originated in Greece, and I am proud to be a part of this beautiful country and these beautiful traditions. So thank you for joining us tonight, and Yassas.
Please join me November 12th. I'm going to host the Hellenic Initiative Annual Gala. This year's event is virtual, but the feelings will be real.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Hellenic Public Radio, Cosmos FM 91.5 on WNYE in New York. I am speaking with Peter Poulos, the executive director of the Hellenic Initiative, to talk about their virtual gala, which is going to be this Thursday in 2 days' time at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we just heard from Rita Wilson and George Stephanopoulos, incredible people from the Greek American community. And they're not the only talent and the only notable people that you had to participate in this.
Yeah, it's incredible. The outpouring of support that we received this year was incredible, and it's different than putting together, an in-person gala, because somebody like George Stephanopoulos is extremely busy, Rita Wilson is extremely busy, and, obviously live in different cities, to get them to people like that to come together in one city, to be together, for our gala in person is difficult. But to say to them, hi, we are putting together a virtual gala and we would love your support, we need you to film a performance for us, for 5 minutes, or help us, with the emceeing of the event for an hour, and you can do that in your own studio, in the privacy of your home, in your office, wherever it was. People said, sure, yeah, we would love to do that. And so, that allowed, we have Psychis Rouvas, who's live hosting the event for us in Athens. Besides Rita Wilson and George Stephanopoulos, we have Peter Diamandis. We have Marina Sati doing a performance for us. We have Monica, with the most incredible voice, doing a performance for us. We have the Greek Youth Symphony Orchestra doing a performance for us. And in fact, they're a really interesting story. And in fact, Nia Vardalis does a pitch for the Greek Youth Symphony Orchestra in the event because, Greece didn't have a youth symphony orchestra. And a young man decided that he wanted to start one. And so he found talented young Greek musicians in Greece, but also in the diaspora, and put together a fantastic Greek Youth Symphony Orchestra. And it's the first one that Greece has ever had. And they're performing for us on Thursday night. They had to do it, in their own place because of the lockdown. But, putting it all together, it's magical. It's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Another organization that I wanted to just sort of mention was Enalea, which is Greece's first official fishing school. Greece, if you can believe it, was the only country in the European Union with a coastline that didn't have an official fishing school. And this young man, Lefteris, who comes from like 5 generations of fishermen, his family was from Mikra Asia. He went to Athens graduated from Athens School of Economics, a prestigious school. And was toying with the idea of going into fishing because, it was his family's business, but decided instead that he wanted to be involved in fishing, but he wanted to do it his own way. And so he started a fishing school. And actually it's with an online e-learning platform that THI helped fund. And so he graduates a class of fishermen and fisherwomen like every year who all immediately have employment because it was sort of it was an industry that was dying. It was sort of dying because it was aging out. Mm-hmm. And now he is paying fishermen and teaching fishermen and women how to collect plastic waste from the bottom of the seafloor. And so they have a program where, they collect a certain amount of waste, and with that plastic, it's mostly plastic nets that they collect. They work with a company that takes that plastic and weaves it with cotton, turns it into fabric, and they make socks with it. And then wow. They sell the socks. Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible story. They sell the socks to make money. And in fact, with the fishermen, a lot of times, because fishermen go through a lot of socks, because they get wet all the time, et cetera, they actually do a barter agreement with them. So in exchange for collecting the nets from the bottom of the seafloor, they give them socks.
That's incredible.
It's incredible. And wait till you, I get like chills, when I think about this young man and what he does. It's incredible. It's just hopeful, Very.
Yeah. And besides the virtual gala, which again, to mention, it's going to be this Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Yep. And you can go to the Hellenic Initiative's website for tickets to be able to follow along and watch that. But as per usual, it wouldn't be a gala without some nice gifts along the way. And in specific, an auction. And this year's auction, my God, has just incredible offerings. And it's really funny because the auction is usually tied to the gala. So if you don't have a ticket for the gala, you're not really getting a ticket for the auction. But this year, because it's virtual, right, everybody has access to it.
Everyone can participate in the auction. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy because I went last night when I went to bed late because I was working late. Last night I went to bed late, and we had X amount of dollars raised in the auction. And then, when I woke up this morning and clicked on the auction, we had like 10 times the amount of money. So I think we're going to do extremely well with the auction. Something we did this year that's different with our auction as well, besides the fantastic luxury items that we have, we cannot thank enough the people who donated, and all of the auction items have something to do, like 90% of them have something to do, in sort of celebrating Greeks, Greece or Greeks in the diaspora, because that's always our theme and our mission. We also decided to create a list of charitable auction items. So if you go to the auction site, which is thiauction.com, you go to the auction site and you click on make a donation, you're going to see 10 different organizations pop up. And those are all the organizations that will be featured in the gala as well. You're going to see videos about all of them in the gala. And so these are auction items that you can make a donation to. So, you can click on Prolapsis, and you can give $5, $10, $100, $10,000, and that money will go directly to Prolapsis, and it tells you exactly what the money goes for. So with, X amount of extra dollars, Prolapsis can feed another 17,000 people, for a year. So this is the first time we're adding charitable auction items to our gala. And I'm very pleased to tell you that that half of those have already been funded fully.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a quick musical break. Stick around for more of our conversation with Peter Poulos, the Executive Director of the Hellenic Initiative.
Καθρεφτάκι σου παλιό και πίσω απ' τη φαμπάδα η Σμύρνη με το κορδελιό και η παλιά Ελλάδα και η παλιά Ελλάδα μου τζουρωμένο το γυαλί μα πίσω απ' τους καπνούς του βλέπει ο Θεός το αϊβαλί και σταματάει ο νους του και σταματάει ο νους του. Τα σμυρνεϊκά τραγούδια ποιος σου τα μάθε να τα λες και να δακρύζεις της καρδιάς μ' αν θε. Τα σμυρνεϊκά τραγούδια ποιος σου τα μάθε να τα λες και να δακρύζεις της καρδιάς μ' αν θε. Καθρεφτάκι σου παλιό και το μυαλό χαμένο σε ποιο τα ήπιες καπηλιό και βγήκες μεθυσμένο και βγήκες μεθυσμένο. Τα σμυρνεϊκά τραγούδια ποιος σου τα μάθε να τα λες και να δακρύζεις της καρδιάς μ' αν θε. Τα σμυρνεϊκά τραγούδια ποιος σου τα μάθε να τα λες και να δακρύζεις της καρδιάς μ' αν θε. Πίσω απ' τους καπνούς του βλέπει ο Θεός το αϊβαλί σταματάει ο νους του, και σταματάει ο νους του. Τα σμυρνέικα τραγούδια ποιος σου τα μάθε, να τα λες και να δακρύζεις της καρδιάς μ' αν θε. Τα σμυρνέικα τραγούδια ποιος σου τα μάθε, να τα λες και να δακρύζεις της καρδιάς μ' αν θε.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Hellenic Public Radio, Cosmos FM 91.5 on WNYE in New York. You can also hear us streaming live at www.cosmosfm.org and on all your smart devices via the TuneIn app by searching Cosmos FM. I'm your host, Anna Eliopoulos, and tonight here on our show, we have Rita Poulos, the executive director of the Hellenic Initiative, and we're talking all about not only the works of the organization, but their upcoming virtual gala, which is taking place Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern online. It's such a nice novel idea to know that, all right, yes, maybe I can get a gift in return for my donation. But if you're not about that, this is just straight aid to these organizations that really are doing incredible work, be it either immediate emergency relief, as you mentioned, with like an organization like Poulos, which is about offering meals to children all over Greece, or if it's the Greek Youth Orchestra, as you mentioned before.
Yeah. I mean, so much. I mean, I think COVID's also made people sort of rethink, how we see material goods as well. We travel too much. We're like, what's good for me? What's good for the planet? What's good for other people around me? Like, do I need all of these things? I mean, of course, we have an auction and we're trying to sell, like all of these items, but we also wanted to give people an opportunity to do just as you said, like give $10 to an organization. You know what you get back? You get it back in spades. It's like the rent we pay for living. Thank you, for like making a donation to an organization that's helping make somebody else's life better. That's what that's what it's all about at the end of the day, isn't it?
I think this year also I feel like it's almost a little bit more fulfilling, because usually as members of the Greek diaspora, we most of the time have the luxury to be able to go, if not every year, every other year, or within a decent time frame to go back and get our in-person taste of Greece. COVID hasn't allowed us to do that, but that doesn't mean that we're not here and we're not supporting, even though we can't necessarily immediately see the benefits of what we quote unquote sowed. We're not going to see what we reaped immediately, but that doesn't mean that our actions, even sitting from our own couches during the virtual gala or the donation that we make, during our break time at work, won't have an impact.
I couldn't agree more. I was listening to Monica's performance, and Marina Sati's performances. I mean, they're so incredible, and it just made me. It makes you so proud to be Greek, and it makes you realize, like, okay, like you said, if I wasn't able to come to Greece this year, well, that's okay, because we're going to bring Greece right to your living room for you this year on Thursday night. And I think that's going to make a lot of people feel good.
I completely agree. So once again, if somebody is interested in purchasing tickets to the gala, where can they go?
You can go right to the Hellenic Initiative's website. So just go to the Hellenic Initiative. It's www.thehellenicinitiative.org, all one word, .org. And you can click on the gala right there, or you can go directly to the auction site, which is the Hellenic Initiative, THIauction.com. And there, you can see all of the featured items, all the silent auction items. You can click on make a donation as well, and you can read about, all of our charitable auction items this year.
And once again, the virtual gala is going to be this Thursday in 2 days' time at 6 p.m. Eastern. Once again, you can go to the Hellenic Initiative's website, not only for information about that and the auction, but also all of the work that they've been doing throughout the year and throughout the time, essentially, that they started in 2012 Peter, thank you so much again for being part of the program. We wish you all the best of luck. And I can't wait to hear about next year's gala, hopefully in person. But if it doesn't if it doesn't work out, at least we know that this model ain't too bad.
Yeah, we listen. The whole THI team, everybody's saying, well, you know what? If it doesn't work out, we can't get together in person next year. At least we know how to put together a virtual event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you again so much for giving us a little bit of your time, and all the best.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Cosmos FM will be back on the air tomorrow night at 7 p.m. But if you missed this show, or if you want to hear any of the other shows, you can always go to our website, cosmosfm.org, and click on the archives button. You can hear this show as well as all the other ones that we have to offer on demand at any time. From Anna Eliopoulos and all of us here at Hellenic Public Radio, have a safe and wonderful evening.
Απόψε θα σου ορκιστώ πως σ' αγαπάω. Εσύ με σπρώχνεις στο κακό κι εγώ γελάω. Ό,τι έμεινα από το χαλασμό θα σου χαρίσω. Το τελευταίο μου ναυάγιο πριν ζήσω.
Πάρε μου όπου θες εσύ. Ζωή μισή, δεν θέλω πια να ζω. Ζήτα μου ό,τι θες, πάρε μου όπου θες εσύ. Ζωή μισή, δεν θέλω πια να ζω. Απόψε η νύχτα με βάλε να σε παιδέψω. Πριν το τρελό χορό της σου χορέψω. Κι όσο τα κόκκινα τα πέπλα μου θα υφαίνεις, μες στον καθρέφτη θα σε βλέπω να πεθαίνεις. Ζήτα μου ό,τι θες, πάρε μου όπου θες εσύ. Ζωή μισή, δεν θέλω πια να ζω. Ζήτα μου ό,τι θες, πάρε μου όπου θες εσύ. Ζωή μισή, δεν θέλω πια να ζω.